UCLA football finds itself at a crossroads after losing to Nebraska. The Rams get a second crack at Mac Jones. And the Chargers aren't even admitting who will play offensive line tonight. A cliffhanger for Sunday Night Football. Good morning. I'm James. And this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is November 9th, 2025. We are still adding new subscribers to the Angeleno Familia. Thank you. We're going to do our best to keep you informed. It's also Sunday, the Lord's Day. And if you believe as I do, take a moment. Thank Him for the blessings in your life. Like LA Sports. And if you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop an update. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, an expanded look at the scoreboard. And to be frank, it's not a good night for the Angelenos. Starting with Nebraska 28, UCLA 21. If you're a Bruins fan, I want to talk about the big picture before talking about this game. Because when Deshaun Foster was the coach, he was saying that nobody was going to outwork him. And he's true to his word. Nobody outworked him on digging that hole that the Bruins football program is still in. See, to be bowl eligible, you need at least 6 wins. The Bruins have 3 games left. They are not going to sweep those 3 games. They are not going into Columbus and beating Ohio State. So there's not going to be a bowl game. USC is their bowl game. And after that, back to the drawing board. And I think back to yesterday, right? Because I got a message from a longtime viewer about petitions to get rid of athletic director Martin Jarmond, to hold him accountable for what this football program has disintegrated into. Last night's game is a prime example why that petition exists. Now, it seems to me, I'm a USC guy, but I want to be fair to UCLA. So as an outsider, it seems to me that there are 2 types of UCLA sports fans. One is the guy who likes that the school has more than 100 NCAA titles, right? He's the guy who's like, you know what? We'd like to be great in football, but we are awesome in everything else. And golly gee, do I love gymnastics. That's one. Then there's the guy who's like, man, I grew up watching Terry Donahue on the sidelines. I grew up on Troy Aikman. I wouldn't care about beach volleyball if football and hoops didn't make me a UCLA guy. So what I'm seeing right now is bull crap. So there's a disconnect among the fan base and a disconnect in the school. And to my eyes, the school chancellor seems to be more in the former camp. Got to be honest with you guys. He seems to be in the former camp. Now, as for the game, there was just one defensive breakdown after another. We know this because UCLA had one job: stop Emmett Johnson. That is why I thought the Bruins would post a win. They knew it was the job because the Cornhuskers asked a freshman quarterback to make his first career start last night. You stop Johnson, you're asking a freshman to make a bunch of plays? Really? But not only did UCLA not stop Johnson, there were times where they just straight up forgot to remind themselves he was on the field. The dude piled up 232 all-purpose yards, 129 of them on the ground, 3 touchdowns scored. So basically, Nebraska takes a 2-score lead in the second quarter and stiff-armed the Bruins for the rest of the way. Now, as for UCLA, Nico Iamaleava is once again the only impact player on that team. He passes for 2 yards, led them in rushing, but again, no bowl game. Back to the drawing board. And by all means, let me know what you think should be on that drawing board. Also, Atlanta 122, Lakers 102. Phoenix 114, the Clippers 103. Now, as for today, the Rams are at Scum Francisco at 125. The last time these two teams played, I took the Rams, and boy, did I look bad. It's kind of like introducing a church girl to your parents only to find out she's on OnlyFans. That's how bad that pick looked to me. I felt I was on solid footing because the Niners were missing about half their team and Mac Jones was starting at quarterback. So, where are we now? Well, to hear Sean McVay talk about the Rams' 2 losses is to hear an indictment of the special teams. But that wasn't the only part of the Rams game that stunk when they lost to San Francisco. It wasn't simply the kicking game. It wasn't simply Joshua Carty. You watch that game, you're left asking yourself, how the hell did Mac Jones pass for 342 yards? You're left wondering how the defense failed. Did the pass rush take a night off? They only had 1 sack. Maybe Chris Shula had a bad play calling night. Now, since then, they've righted the ship. Ever since that game, the Rams defense has had games where they conceded 3 points, 7 points, 10 points. So yeah, I think they took that loss personally. Now for the Niners, Christian McCaffrey is playing today. That's going to help our evil neighbors to the north. But I simply don't see Jones going throw for throw with Stafford again. I don't see it. It seems to me for Scum Francisco to have gotten that first win, a lot of things just happened to go right for them. So I don't see lightning striking twice. So I'm going to put my money on the Rams. Also, Pittsburgh is at the Chargers at 5:20. Now look, if this sounds, what I'm about to tell you, if it sounds like I'm talking myself into taking Pittsburgh today, you're right. You're right. The reason I am not even remotely comfortable forecasting this game, the Steelers' defense is far too erratic to trust. For all the talk about how Aaron Rodgers, he's the old guy yelling at the clouds when he's not calling audibles. You know, there he is in the huddle, calling a play and bitching about the COVID vaccine. Does that sound like leadership to you? But still, Rodgers isn't the story of Pittsburgh. The defense for the Steelers has given up more than 30 points in 4 games this year. They also then suddenly turned it around, forced Indianapolis into 6 turnovers last week. So it begs the question, is the Steelers' defense so whacked out that Justin Herbert can do just enough to win behind nothing on the offensive line? Both of Herbert's elite offensive tackles are done for the year. And yes, I get it. The Bolts traded for an offensive lineman this week. But they're not even saying where the dude's going to play. Or for that matter, if he is going to play. We don't know what the offensive line for the Chargers is going to look like tonight. And by the way, I mentioned the 6 turnovers for the Steelers defense last week. They also sacked the Colts quarterbacks 5 times. So I can totally see this as a low-scoring game. The Chargers defense, we know we can trust them not to give up a bunch of points. I think they're going to get to Rodgers. Now, if the Steelers do likewise with Herbert, I take Pittsburgh. And I also recall that the Chargers offense completely falls apart without Joe Alt at tackle. So I sit there and I say, who the hell's going to block TJ Watt or Alex Highsmith? I'm not confident about it, but I lean to the Steelers. Also today, the Kings are at Pittsburgh at 11 in the morning, and Manhattan plays USC basketball at 3 o'clock. Now, with that out of the way, let's get to the news. Kawhi Leonard is out for, quote, the next few games, unquote, with an ankle sprain, according to Clippers coach Tyronn Lue. He already missed the previous 3, Lou did not get precise about the timeline for Leonard's return, and it makes sense for a couple of reasons. One, ankle injuries can go for 2 weeks. They could even go for 4, unless, of course, there's a break in the ankle and it goes much longer. So, obviously, it's vague. And then there's the second reason we don't get precise about the timeline. This is going to give Leonard all the time to catch up on those marketing commitments that he got paid extra money for. Am I right? Am I right? Of course, Leonard and injuries is like the Reese's peanut butter cup of the NBA. I mean, you got your chocolate in my peanut butter. You got your Kawhi Leonard in my operating room, right? Leonard missed the entire 2021-22 season while recovering from a right knee injury. He missed the first 34 games of last year due to problems with the same knee. A lot of time in physical therapy as opposed to fulfilling his commitment to being a hype man for green energy companies. But I digress. I'm not looking forward to telling you this little update at all, but because we at Faithful Angeleno Sports, we have no choice but to break our very strict don't discuss men's groins policy. I'm not happy about talking about men's groins. I don't want to discuss men's groins. But I do this as a public service to let our crabby little wordsmiths in sports journalism know. I'm a former sports writer. When the print journalism industry imploded, I went into healthcare. Recession-proof job. You don't go from having your byline on page 1 to sleeping behind a dumpster. I didn't want to do that. So, as an MRI tech, I want the NBA beat writers to know that Lakers guard Austin Reeves did not have an MRI of his groin. That didn't happen. The official name of the exam is an MRI of the pelvis. The entire pelvis. Austin Reeves did not have pictures of his own family jewels on a secure network. Little Austin did not get scanned. They scanned the entire pelvis to make sure that the muscles in that area did not tear. Huge difference. So, J.J. Redick told the Scribes, quote, he's got a mild strain. His pain is really low right now. This is precautionary, given the nature of the potential for a more serious injury in that area, unquote. The Lakers expect Reeves to return to play during the road trip, and I hope that you guys report this accurately, because I never want to bring up this subject ever again. Just saying. The local press, after USC's victory on Friday, they resumed playing the "When Did You Stop Beating Your Wife" game with Lincoln Riley. Now, for those of you with a sense of fair play, which is something that the local press does not have, the "When did you stop beating your wife" question has no good answer to it. In the case of Riley, they didn't ask how long ago did he stop beating his wife. The question to Riley comes in 2 forms. If USC sucks, the story becomes Lincoln Riley is going to get bought out of his contract and he's going to move to Central Florida. That's one question. But USC this year doesn't suck. So now the question changes to better opportunities are coming for Lincoln Riley. He's going to get the next train out of town. That no good carpetbagger. He's going to leave USC in a lurch. Either way, the story is, how do we get Lincoln Riley out of town? Have you ever noticed that? By the way, this hot rumor about Lincoln Riley leaving USC, is he rumored to take a specific job? No. Do we have any sources saying Riley went to USC management and said, man, I hate it here, I want to go? No. So one of the scribes asked the coach after the Trojans win, "Hey, I've got nothing other than a random talking head. Do you hate it here? Do you want to leave?" So Riley said, quote, "You guys know what I sacrificed to come here. I'm where I need to be," unquote. So scribes, I know you hate him. You're stuck with the guy. You're stuck with Lincoln Riley. Deal with it. Try to get a source before you start wish casting. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me, for example, about UCLA football and what they need to do to find a pulse or something. For that matter, are you confident about either the Rams, Chargers, or both? And if you enjoyed the update, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.